Hello, my name is Zahi Zind, and I'm an agronomist in the Van Ipperen International team. Today we will be talking about FoliaStim Calcium. Some of you might be already familiar with the FoliaStim range, which is based on Ascophyllum nodosum seaweed extracts, combined with other nutrients such as micronutrients or NPK fertilizers. The idea is to bring biostimulation together with nutrition so we can target precise physiological cycles and physiological needs for the plants. As I said, the focus today will be on FoliaStim Calcium, one of our latest innovations in the FoliaStim range. You can notice that the name itself is FoliaStim Calcium SC because we are talking about the FoliaStim which is under the form of a suspension concentrate rather than a liquid. So, let's first talk about the calcium needs in a plant. Of course, many of you already know this, but let's just go through them quickly. You can see that calcium is really normally it's considered as secondary nutrient, but in reality, it's one of the most important nutrients in the plant. Simply because without calcium, the cell wall formation of the membranes, the outer membranes of the vegetal cells cannot be formed. And it's like the glue that holds all the fruit together. If you do not have enough calcium, then your cell walls will be very weak, which will affect the fruit quality, the firmness, the taste, and the shelf life. And this has a direct impact also on the fruit handling process, specifically when you are talking about export crops that will go through processing, packing, storing, etc. So without proper calcium, you will be really exposed to bad firmness and bad quality. That's in addition to very important calcium-related physiological disorders, which unfortunately are irreversible. It means that once they happen, you have a lot of catastrophic results going on the crop quality, as you can see in the pictures. For example, the bitter pit on tomato, the blossom end rot on tomato, the bitter pit on apples, the tip burn on lettuce, etc. So all these, I would call them, they are calcium-related physiological disorders, cannot be prevented except if you follow very well your calcium nutrition. Now, what makes FoliaStim Calcium SC a unique product? It is precisely the possibility of combining the Ascophyllum nodosum with a very high concentration. We're talking here about 22.5% weight over volume, with 46% weight over volume of CaO, calcium oxide. You can go through the market, you won't find any product that is as concentrated, given these two elements are hardly compatible together. So thanks to our knowledge at Van Ipperen International on formulations, we managed to create this unique product. So as I said, you can go through the market, you won't find any product that is as close, even remotely close to that. There are many products in the market that claim to have a combination of seaweed plus calcium, but none of them to the concentrations mentioned before. And when you say seaweed extract, you don't really know how much is it concentrated and what is the seaweed extract. They don't claim. If they say just seaweed inside, but we don't know how much there is inside. For a very simple reason, as I said before, the challenge is to combine the alginate or the alginic acid anion form with the calcium, which is a cation. And when you have this combination, normally you have a precipitation. The new thing with FoliaStim Calcium is that now you have a ready-to-use solution combining these two products, these two, let's say, parts of the product. So, thanks to the combination of the seaweed extract with the calcium, we do have an increased nutrient use efficiency of calcium. It is well known on seaweed products that they will increase the plant's ability to uptake the nutrients. So here we have a synergistic effect between the seaweed and the nutrients that is put forward. Plus, given that with the application of calcium, and we're going to talk a bit more about it a bit later, happens during periods of really high possibility of abiotic stress episodes, we are bringing also a protection against abiotic stress, and it will definitely stop the calcium-related physiological disorders, thus increasing fruit firmness, shelf life, quality, etc. And that's what I was talking about the agronomical positioning. It is well known that calcium needs to be applied immediately after petal fall, or let's say just 1 week or 2 weeks max after the petal fall, when you have the new fruits that are formed. And in some crops, you even start even before that. Why is it important to be that early in the application, even if there is theoretically still very low volume of fruits? It's simply because during the cell division process, which occurs early into the fruit set physiological stage, we have the most calcium needs because the cell walls are being formed at this specific stage. If you apply calcium later in the season, let's say just before coloring or through the maturation, it's too late because the cell walls are already formed and they are lacking calcium, so you will have the physiological disorders. So we are talking here about a period that is normally in the northern hemisphere spanning from, let's say, April until end of June. And during this period, you are also prone to the strongest abiotic stress episodes. I'm thinking about heat waves. I'm thinking about frost, sometimes spring frost that can occur immediately after fruit set. You have the June drop also that is happening, the physiological drop that is happening during this phase. So any biostimulant that can help alleviate the abiotic stress is welcome. And with FoliaStim Calcium, you are bringing really significant amounts of biostimulation combined with calcium during this specific episode that is quite stressful on the plant. Another very big advantage is that you are bringing the calcium without chloride or nitrate. Many of the products on the market, they combine these two anions, chloride or nitrate, to bring the calcium. It's even maybe 90% or even more of the products that are foliar calcium contain these two elements. The problem with chloride is that any small mistake can lead to very high phytotoxicity risk. And the problem of nitrates is that on one hand you bring the calcium, but on the other hand you also bring more vigor, and thus you will affect the fruit firmness. So it's a bit contradictory. With FoliaStim Calcium, which is really unique, is that you bring just the calcium combined with the seaweed extract, so you do not have any undesired effects from nitrogen or chloride. And at the rates that we are giving to give the calcium, because let's not forget that we are doing foliar applications of calcium products, the equivalent of Stim Pure, which is our pure seaweed extract, so we would look at a 100% seaweed extract based on Ascophyllum nodosum, is equivalent to almost 2.5 liter per hectare, which is quite significant in terms of biostimulation effect. So that's the proposed dosing. We start as of fruit set, sometimes even earlier, but we in general would like to avoid late sprays after coloration because the product will leave sediments if it's not washed afterwards. So if you start early, you do not have this problem anyway. And anyway, once you are into coloration, it's too late for calcium. So you would like to spray as early as possible. And then you can repeat every 10 to 14 days. A very classic example would be, for example, on apples, you would do between 4 to 5, 6, depending on the variety applications. It's a very big classic thing on apples. And then you have the dosing table, which you can see also on the presentation. If you have more questions and if you're interested in the product, please feel free to call us, the agronomy team at Von Iperen International. We will be more than happy to support you on positioning the product on your crop for a more, let's say, specific approach for you, as it suits better to have an agronomist look at the current situation before advising the product. Few more additional informations regarding FoliaStim Calcium. Since it is a suspension, it's very important that we shake well before using the product, as some particles might have a small sedimentation. So when you shake it, you bring it back into suspension, and then you can use it in foliar application. And of course, since it's a calcium product, you need to be very careful with compatibility. You know that calcium is in antagonism to most elements, so be careful about that. Always make a jar mix, before foliar spray. That's it for today, and I'd like to thank you and see you soon, I hope.